Yo, 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 it's the season to curl up, sleep in, and get cozy, which means you can't go wrong giving comfy gifts for the holidays. And with Purple, you can give the gift of comfort and great sleep to everyone on your list. Purple is a sleep company that's been innovating comfort for over 15 years with their proprietary Purple Grid technology. Purple's best-selling Harmony pillow is made with their signature grid and provides absolute airflow. You hear how I said that? Wispiness, absolute airflow. It's the perfect gift to help keep the hottest of heads cool. Wrapping a mattress in Purple's silky soft, breathable sheets will have every sleeper wanting to hit the snooze button even more. And I don't really have a snooze button, but if I did, I would hit it. Whether you're working in an office or at a kitchen table, sitting all day no longer has to be a pain in the butt. That's kind of a dad joke. Purple's seat cushions offer no pressure support and keeps you comfortably cool, where it counts, in the butt. And for the little ones, Purple's Kids Collections has all the essentials to help them dream big. They'll wake up feeling merry and bright every day, having slept on the super soft, moisture-wicking kids' sheets. Your smaller sleepers won't stir at night when they have the cradling support of the kids' pillow, which is made with the same grid technology. Purple is comfortable. It fits your body. It's what you want. It keeps you cool. It makes you happy. And most of all, it makes you comfy. Give the gift of comfort and great sleep with Purple. Go to purple.com/Bob10 and use promo code Bob10. For a limited time, you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. That's purple.com/Bob10, promo code Bob10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/Bob10, promo code Bob10. Terms apply. Hey, it's Bob Saget's here for you. I'm here for you, and there's so many shows with similar names. This one came out, I think, before the age of the automobile. That's how long I've been doing this podcast, since, I think, when was that? 1910? I don't know history. I don't know much, but I know I love you, and that is all I need to know. So the truth is, this is Bob Saget's here for you. And you know what to do with this thing. You're going to listen to it. I got a great person on here today, Michael Rosenbaum, and he is an incredibly talented man. From things like on Smallville, he was Lex Luthor. He does not have a shaved head anymore. He's been in a ton of movies, and he's a musician and a writer and a director and an artist. And he's very, very open. And he has a podcast called Inside of You. And it's not lascivious. Of course, that's where I take it. That's how I do things. Can't help it. Just trying to not stay bored. But it's a really good podcast. He really gets into his head. He gets into the head of his guests. And it's in a positive way. And it's kind of a therapy session in a way. It's Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. And there it is. That's what it looks like. And it's backwards, but that's how these things work. So he is quite a special guy and quite a sweetheart. So you're going to enjoy this. And in the meantime, before you hear it, where I'm about to admit him in, I admit it. That's kind of what this podcast is going to be like. I have a feeling it's going to be lengthy because we're going to be riffing and talking about stuff that is meaningful to us at this moment. You want to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. That's what you want to do. It's free. Again, I said it to Bill Burr once when I first started this podcast at the beginning of the year, and Bill said, Bob, they're all free. You get sponsors, Bob. Do it for a couple years. Shut the fuck up. And Bill was right. So he likes telling me the truth as harsh as possible, and I accept that. So you can also follow it, depending on how you get your podcasts. I get them down at the flea market. No, I don't. There ain't no flea market. I don't know if you've noticed. Not to my knowledge. Anyway, it's Michael Rosenbaum, and here we go with another episode of Bob Saget's Here for You. So, Michael, your name your family heritage name is Michael Rosenbaum. That is the root.
That's correct. Rosenbaum, I believe, means red tree in German. I was thinking of changing my name at a certain time in my life early on. And, people are like, look at Schwarzenegger and all these other names. I'm like, Rosenbaum. And it's actually Rosenbaum. My dad used to get upset when I said Baum. He's like, that's your name? That's your name? I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's Baum. I'm like, well, I'm not going to go, I'm Michael Rosenbaum.
Right.
So I said Rosenbaum. And he still pisses him off.
Well, you had it easier than me because Saget was a rhyming scheme for many people. So school was not a good thing. It was not fun.
You weren't popular either?
You weren't popular? How could you not be popular?
I was the shortest kid in my entire high school, 360 people graduating class, shortest kid in my high school.
So you grew like at 21, 22?
No, I grew at like
38?
At like 18 years old, I went to college, and some people that had gone to high school with me came up and go, dude, what happened to you? Are you Michael, whatever you're Baum?
Rosenbaum.
Baum. And I was like, yeah. They're like,
dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't even start puberty till late. When they played skins and shirts basketball,
right?
If they gave me a skins, I would suddenly have a stomach ache and couldn't play because I had no hair under my arms and I'd be embarrassed. So I'm
so pretty hairless. I am. I'm kind of like a Native American in a way. I'm very smooth. I got a little bit of frills right in the chestal, and I got my nipples are incredibly hairy.
Are they?
You can't even see the nipples. It's like two little chia man boobs. It's beautiful.
The Hendersons there. Yeah. What happened was I used to pray. People used to pray for like, I want to pray for a ColecoVision, pray for, all these things. I pray for arm hair, and I got it later on. I got some back hair.
But you're not completely, you have back hair?
I have some back hair. It's not like outrageous, but if I let it 4 or 5 months, it can get pretty. So I usually have a little, a clipper, and places I can't reach, I'll have either my brother or an ex-girlfriend. I'll pay them.
I know we haven't seen each other, and I know you got to wear a mask during this, but could you shave my back?
Well, that's the thing. During COVID, I need bigger shirts because I've let it grow. That's all right though. It's okay. I used to think that, you got to be sort of hairless, and that's the whole Hollywood thing. And I'm like, you know what? The hair's coming back. Hair's in.
Hair is totally in. Now that's a question I've had for you, because Lex Luthor. It's Luthor or Baum.
On the show, Lex Luthor Baum. They it is Luthor. Some actors or guest stars would say Mr. Luthor, and they go, it's Luthor.
Oh man, that's not good.
Yeah, Luthor. It's Luthor.
So Lex Luthorbaum, did you like having a shaved head? Do you miss it?
No, I don't miss it. I think in the beginning I was worried because I always have these problems where I think I'm going to get fired. They're going to find out I suck. Here it comes.
You were great on Smallville. Great.
Thank you. But it definitely was work. And I remember they're going to shave my head for the pilot, and they're going to see that, you had all these beautiful people on the show, Tom Welling and Kristen Krug, and they were all so gorgeous. Even the older actors, John Schneider and Ed O'Toole, all really handsome, pretty people. And I always felt like I was the ugly duckling. So when they shaved me, I have this big bump on the back of my head. It's an occipital bone.
Right.
And I thought, oh man, when they're shooting overs, behind you, they're going to go, oh, what the hell is that? We got to fire him. His head's, I thought I was going to have little dents all over my head.
Well, that's why they say Jews have horns. That's what that is. It's kind of like you're a unijew.
I'm a unijew. But I honestly, when I shaved my head, I think that helped me for the role. And there was something freeing about when you took a shower and you feel that water. You didn't have to work.
Right.
Saved a lot of money on haircuts. And
I shave downtown, and that's why I stand on my hands during the shower, because it feels so good. And it's also an upside down bidet. And
do you shave your genitals?
Well, Manscaped is a sponsor, so I have to. Their products apparently worked on me, but I was doing it myself. I like to clean it up for Lent.
It also makes it look bigger. If you trim down there, it's like, oh, it's an extra.
It does.
Well, think about it. If you have a lot of hair growing on in the 70s, you saw a lot of pubes just flowing like.
Yeah, it was. If you look at old adult films, it's pretty upsetting. It's like you got to replace that divot after you're done. That's all.
If you shave it down, it's just like you're going to have more of a shaft, I believe.
Well, my shaft's bigger because I have little mirrors, like little miniature funhouse mirrors that if you had like say you built a little house for mice and you wanted to give them little funhouse mirrors, those little ones that are swirly that make your body look weird. I do that. I have a whole little octagon around my my penis. So it would be like, Quadrophenia by The Who?
Yeah, of
so
course.
this would be quadropenia. And so I have an octocock. And you know who he could date is Octopussy, the famous James Bond. So they would have been they could have had 16 children.
Perfect.
Do the math.
I like that.
Aren't you glad you agreed to do?
I thought you were going to go Octomom. I was waiting for Octomom to come in.
Oh, you don't bring a mom into this kind of conversation. That's as bad.
It's not right. Yeah, it's not right.
My mother breastfed me, and she had 8 breasts.
Lucky you. Lucky you.
Well, yeah, but she was a cow, so that's like.
Well, she was heavy, or she was
No, she was an actual cow. My mother was an actual Guernsey.
Oh.
But I would never, like Tom Green, drink from the udder.
Oh yeah.
She had to expel and freeze it. I don't know why this started this way. I'm sorry. It's like I'm punchy today. I'm just punchy.
I feel at home.
I'm glad because doing your podcast, which is called Inside of You. Now that's a fascinating title because if I called my podcast that, people would have a different connotation.
Well, it's funny because we had something that went viral and it went to Stern, and Stern used to watch Smallville and talk about it a lot. And then he hears Robin gives him the news and says, "Oh, somebody had an anxiety attack." So this guy, Stephen Amell, this actor on Michael Rosenbaum's show Inside of You with Michael. And Howard's like, "Oh, inside of you. It's like a double entendre, right? Inside of you. What's inside of you?" And, I was thinking of a title, and we talked about this on my podcast where
which I love doing, by the way, and it seems like only moments ago.
Yeah, it just seems like it was less than an hour ago.
Time is weird.
It is, but I thought about what do I want to do here? I want to be kind of cheeky, but in a way, it's like I get inside the guest. That's as simple as that. I'm getting inside of you. It's
right.
It's supposed to be dirty, but I guess I have mugs, Bob. I'll have to send you a mug.
Oh, I want a mug whenever I do anything. I was doing a podcast yesterday, and I held up a mug, and it said the late Show, and then I looked at it, and it was with Craig Kilborn, and then I realized I'm 105.
So they're actually really good mugs, but it says inside of you. Then on the back, thank you for allowing me to be inside of you.
Oh, well, then it does mean that.
No. Thank you. I thanked you for being, for allowing me to get inside of you. That's
again. I can only go one place with that, but
maybe so.
But I'm here for you to get inside of me.
See, now that's a podcast. Inside of you, here for you, and inside of you.
That's the clip that we'll use to promote both of our podcasts.
I think it's good. I
have a million questions for you. So this is going to take about 9 hours. And I just sit here in front of the Zoom now. That's all I do. I wait for people to show up. I just sit here. And then people admit. And that's the other thing. Once you're on a Zoom and people admit, then they admit if they're inside of you.
Well, don't you feel like, do you like it more when people were coming over my house, like Bob Odenkirk would be sitting there, name drop, and we'd be talking, but now it's on Zoom and we don't have to leave our house. We don't have to shower. I could be naked from the waist down. Do you prefer the Zooms, or do you like when people are actually there?
I started this in studio at Studio 71. I did 2 episodes, and then quarantine happened. And then this wonderful guy, Stephen Perlstein, who runs Studio 71 kind of, he brought the board over, said, "You can't come into the studio. We're not doing it." So I've grown to love this, and I've done a lot of business on it, and then it's different with this. It's, I could be showing like a more posh part of the house, and it's like, why give people a blueprint to your home? It's like, I was
Yeah.
I was watching this show with my wife, the new season of The Crown on Netflix, which is, I thought it was about dental work. I thought it was about a dentist, but it's apparently about the royal family. But British people sometimes have teeth problems. That's what they say about themselves. So I thought it was just going to be, 10 episodes about getting your crown filled. But it's about Queen Elizabeth and all of her family. And the guy breaks into her house. That happened in real life. The guy broke in because times were so hard, and he lost his kids. He couldn't have custody, and he just kind of went mental. He was broke. It was a very difficult time in London. Okay, it was yesterday. No, it was years ago. And it was just like he was able to retrace his steps from breaking in. He broke in twice. It's a real story. So I don't know, on a podcast, some people will show you their whole house, or a reality show. They'll show you. Has anybody ever approached you to do a reality show?
Years ago, when it was kind of a cool thing to do, I mean, this was this is 17 years ago. They asked me to do cribs, and I was like, I was young, and I was like, this is kind of, I wasn't that young, but I was early 30s, and I was like, this is kind of a cool thing. So yeah, I let him around my house, and it was fun. I just didn't take it very seriously, and I just had fun with it. But yeah, I didn't really think about it. You don't think, well, people are going to see your whole and get kind of personal. And I have a lot of friends who are kind of private, and they don't want anybody in their house, and they don't want. I've always been.
Did you say people are going to see your whole
home?
Oh, okay. I thought you said, people are going to come over, they're going to see your whole.
Well, I'm not that personal. I don't get that personal.
But you're inside of you.
I'm inside of myself. But but it is a little bit. You're allowing, certain people, like I have this guest that I've been trying to get on the podcast, and I won't say his name, but he's like, listen, I don't really get personal. I keep that from a book that I'm going to write someday, or I keep it for my family.
And I agree with that to some degree. It depends on the person. And if you want that person, have you found that when you have a guest, finish that thought. I didn't let you finish.
Well, I was just saying that, I got it, but I really liked the guy, and I worked with him, and I thought, this is going to be a great guest. He has a great career. So he says he doesn't want to get personal, but I think I still could ask him certain questions like, I can get a little personal. I think he just doesn't want to go like you and I can get personal and talk about dysfunction, family, death, and life and things like that. And I think he doesn't. Some people don't feel comfortable. And look, if everyone is as open as we were, well, the world would be great, wouldn't it? But that's just not how it works.
Yeah, yes and no, because some people are not sound as much as you wish they could be. They're having like real mental health issues, so you want to get them help. When they
have that. Have you had guests that are on there that just really don't open up?
I had when I have asked certain guests, who I've later had, that had to cancel because stuff's going on in their lives, and then I realized just leave them alone. I leave people alone when they're in it, when they're going through it.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard the panic attack on your show, and how soon in did that happen into the episode?
What was cool was he was a fan of the show, and he's on that show Arrow. Now he's on a new show called Heels, and he's got a huge following, great guy, and he came on and everything was great. Then a year later he came on again, and he had just worked like 22 episodes. He's the lead on a show, doing all his stunts. He came in and he was visibly, I noticed this guy looked like he was, he's a great look. When I look tired, people are like, we need to take you to a hospital. When good looking, really amazing looking people are a little tired, they still look way better than me. And so
you're a good looking guy though. I've never seen you look bad.
I'm just saying that this was like, but when he walked in, and I know Steven, it was just his disposition. It was just, he just was like, hey man, how's it going? Everything else, just like his life, it just seemed like it was sucked out of him. And we started talking, and he goes, hey man, is it hot in here?
Yeah.
I go, not really. I can open the door. He's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm sweating a little bit. It's like, and then he goes, Rosie, I think I'm having a panic attack, man. I don't know. And I go, all right. And I looked at my engineer, Ryan, and he was just like, oh, fuck, what do we do here? And I go, I didn't freak out. When it comes to that stuff, I'm aware because I've had anxiety attacks. And I go, hey, why don't I get you some water? Take a little deep breath, and we'll just relax. And and then he's like, no, Rosie, I think I gotta go, man. I think I gotta. And, he doesn't live far from me. So he goes, I'm going to walk. I go, let me drive you. He goes, no. And in fact, he started walking, and I felt like, fuck. I go, Ryan, should I go jump in my truck? He's like, yeah. So I jumped in my truck and I raced, I drove down half the block and there he is. I go, hey, he goes, hey, he's got his hood on. He's just like, I go, hey, buddy. I go, hey, it's rush hour. And, people, since they've developed Waze, my street's a little busier than most. So can I just drive you home? He's like, man, hey, I really need to walk this off. I go, all right. So then I went back home and I was worried again. And I called his wife and I go, hey, is he all right? What do you mean he's not home? Oh shit, I shouldn't have called this early. I should, but anyway, I was worried. He was, I was worried about him, and it took him time to decompress and sort of get his shit together. And what's funny, or not funny, but the next time he came on the podcast again, he had just got COVID on set and he hadn't announced it. And he announced it on my show. And I was like, whoa, wait, what?
So you're not in the room with him during this. This is
no, right.
Hey, I just got COVID.
Yeah, we did the Zoom, and he was like, "I got COVID, man," and I was on set, and like he starts talking about it, and it was kind of fascinating. But I appreciate that he's open like that. Where I called him. I said, "Hey, we can do one of three things. We can get rid of this podcast. I'll erase it. B, you just let me talk about the rest, and that you had an anxiety attack, and then you're doing fine now, or you can come back and finish it." He goes, "Send me the raw footage," and I thought he was going to be like, "I'm out. Send him the footage. He goes, "I'm coming back." Came back on about a month later, finished it. So you hear him having the anxiety attack, and then he talks about what just happened. And I'll tell you, the most amazing, you might think, oh, that's good for ratings and people listening, but it was really good because all those people that were listening that get anxiety and don't deal with that, hearing someone like this have an anxiety attack and that it happens to everybody, and it's not just, you don't feel alone. It was really cool. It was very helpful, I think, to a lot of people.
Have you gone? It's actually wonderful, and the ratings did increase. So I mean, you accomplished really what you needed, and it helped him a little bit, and other people a little bit. But really, the ratings that kind of put you on the map in a way.
Well, it certainly
helped.
did.
It helped. It spiked your numbers pretty strong, and your podcast is actually fantastic. It's really, really great. And you've been doing it how long?
I was doing it 2 years, and I don't have a big name. I'm not like a Joe Rogan or a Dax Shepard, or like the guys that have huge followings and know huge, big, Stallones. I mean, I've worked with Stallone, but he's not doing my podcast. But these guys, I was working at it thinking, okay. And then I'm like, wow, not that many people are really listening. And then I wanted to quit because I thought, well, what am I doing this for?
Right.
The longer I did it, the more I started to open up and talk about real stuff, and the guests started opening up. I noticed it just started to climb. People started, and I stayed with it. And, what I realized, was the success of it is that I really just enjoy it. I think we sort of rate things based on how successful they are. And what success is to me is, do you enjoy it? Is it a passion? Does it give you fulfillment? Does it help you? And the answer was yeah. And
is it an exchange program with other people? And I feel the same way about this. I'll do this forever. If I'm off, we talked about this on your podcast. If I'm off doing a gig, there's no reason not to bring the podcast board with me and have my computer and do things. Just do it. It's really, I love it. And it's different than something I'd be doing if I was doing. I mean, it's similar to a talk show if you're hosting a talk show, but that market is pretty much done. And unless you come out of left field and something, syndication comes back, which it won't, 11 o'clock at night, the special hours. I think Arsenio went on at 11 at night. I think it was right during the news time.
Yeah, that was the time. I mean, back in the, 90s, 80s, I mean, the talk shows were the thing, and now it's become podcasts. And on my podcast, I think you say it, but you're like, once the COVID thing hit, at first I got a little upset because I was like, man, all these big celebrities now are doing podcasts because they're in COVID. During COVID, they need something to do. And I'm like, this is a passion for me. I love helping people. I love talking to people. I love getting, this is real to me. And now they're doing these, and I go, is it taken away from? I go, no, it just at first it bothered me. Then I thought, you just love doing it. Stop comparing yourself. I think that's what always is the demise of us.
Well, it's ridiculous because we're only competing against ourselves, and we're also talking with a podcast. You've got the world basically. The people that want to have the English speaking world, that's it. It goes everywhere. And so, and I don't have any intention of stopping doing this. It's a fun thing to do, and I get to catch up with people. I mean, you and I have always liked each other.
Yeah.
We met during, I guess it was in nightclubs, or we'd go out with Jonathan Silverman.
Yep.
And we'd hang out, or we'd go to some WB party or something stupid.
Right.
Were you at the one in New York? There was a really crazy one at Sweet 16.
I don't remember the names of places back then, but yeah, I'm sure we. Yeah,
The world was so wrong.
Was it maybe Upfronts or something?
It was Upfronts, and yeah, it was Upfronts, and then and I was a WB person for a while. I was doing
your own show,
Raising Dad, and Jonathan Katz and Norman Steinberg. Jonathan Katz is Dr. Katz, and Norman Steinberg wrote My Favorite Year and was one of the writers with Mel on Blazing Saddles. And the cast was Jerry Adler, who was Hesh on The Sopranos, playing my dad. And on the show as my daughters were Kat Dennings and Brie Larson. And Megan Good was on it as their girlfriend, as Kat's girlfriend. And it was Andy Kindler was on it as I was a teacher and he was the principal. And I loved it. I loved that show. And I understood it was popular in England. I'm like, well, that's okay. So I finally did someone they like, which means it must be good. And we did like 24 episodes, something odd, some large order. And I loved that experience, actually. And that would have been a fun show to keep going because that was effortless.
Yeah, I've had some of those. Yeah, that you just go, man, that was a really good time. I was lucky to be doing that. And, I wish that would have gone another 3 or 4 seasons, But, that's freaking
I think about everything I do. I don't understand because I'm all in. Whatever I do, oh, my God, I'm inside you. I do everything. That's his podcast, everybody. Come on. I give everything I have to everything I do, which is why my ex-wife is so happy. So, you've never been married. Were you close at any time?
No, I think there were times, there was a moment where I felt like a couple of moments with a couple of women, maybe 2 or 3 in my life that, we played around and talked about stuff, and maybe it was puppy love at one point, but
you were in love with a puppy?
Well, she had a puppy, and I was in love with it.
Was it a Maltese?
No, I think it was a poodle.
But
the idea when I was young, it's like I had so much dysfunction, but like my grandparents were always together, even till the end when my grandpa passed. They were together for 72 years, and I thought, okay, it's possible, and true love. And
well, I don't know if that's true love. It's also fear of separating. What are you going to do?
That's probably part of it. They met when she was like 12, I think, and then they ended up, kissing when she was 15, and then they probably had some intercourse somewhere along the line. But I really, they gave me hope, and they were always, Michael, they put guilt on me. Even to this day, when my grandmother calls me, she goes, "You would be such a great dad. Why can't you? The joy of a child." And I'm like, and I get guilty, and I'm like, and then finally I said to her the other day, this is true. I said to her, I go, "I'm going to have this kid and you're going to die." And then I'm like, I had this kid for you, and then you die. And then I got to take care of it for the next 18 years.
Right.
So you got to do things because.
But at least you got a selfie with you and the kid and the grandmother.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what I got out of this.
Oh God, man. You got to do things because I have a fear. I always had a fear, and it stems from childhood of like, who's going to teach the kid math or science? Or I'm an idiot. I always felt like I was dumb. I'm like, you can't do this. This kid's going to end up, not going to. And I always, and they're like, well, why don't I just marry someone who's a lot smarter than me, which is not difficult to find. And then, the years go on, and then you start to go, am I too old? I've had some surgeries. I'm tired all the time.
What surgeries? I don't know.
I've had 7 spine surgeries from ice hockey my whole life and stand-up comedy. And, but no, I honestly.
Wait a minute. Stand-up comedy?
I was kidding. You don't get next,
Well, some people do. I guess if you stand up all the time, it could be bad on you.
Probably bad for your back. But I had a lot of surgeries, so I've had 7. So
on your back,
5 on my back, 2 on my neck, my back, my neck, my crack.
That's a good song.
Oh, it's going to go down as one of the most well written.
Do you know my rap name?
DJ Sags?
No, it's pea-slit.
Pea-slit.
Yeah. It's just the little slit that you pee out of. See, that's why I'm not a doctor. No, I actually said that once. I don't know where, but it can quiet a room, I'll tell you that.
Oh, do you have a photographic memory, by the way? You seem like somebody who could just read something.
I remember stuff. I don't have a photographic memory or acting. When it comes to like dialogue, it has to be good dialogue or I can't learn it. I have to, when I was doing Full House, sometimes I would write stuff on a pencil. I would be like, I love you, honey. I mean, literally something that inane I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I used to tell the prop guy on Smallville or some shows, I'm like, because I'd have to read these speeches. And I go, hey, in this book, I want you to have, there's something on my table or at my desk, and I want you to write the whole, have all in there. And or just up a little bit, or if I would hide, you hear these stories about different people doing it, and I would hide lines and this. And there was one actor actually couldn't get his lines out, and I was trying to make him feel comfortable. I wasn't being a dick, and he was one of the most famous. He had one of the most famous dads in history. I can't say his name because I don't want to, make fun, because I was trying to be nice, but he couldn't remember his lines. You could see him freaking out. We've all been there. And so I go, you know what Tom and I do all the time? And I took the sides, the pages, I'm telling your audience, but the pages of the dialogue for the day. And I licked my palm and I stuck it to my...
Yeah, they say Brando would do that without a problem, would have lines written on the other actor's head.
And he read it off my head. And it worked. And I was like, hey, any way you could do it. People don't see that. If he ended up, I'm like, when they pieced it together, I'm like, he was better than me in that fucking scene.
Yeah, because he wasn't worried about the lines. I mean, that's like, I would do that. Not a lot. I was in this play that I got to take over for an actor, Mark Kudish, who's very good, called Hand to God on Broadway. And I was in there the last 3, I get like 77 performances or something. I wanted to do it. I would have loved to have done the whole run, but Mark was so great in it. And it's all these people that are just, it was this amazing dream experience, and have you done theater stuff?
Yeah, a lot of theater. I started out in theater, and then I ended up doing some off-Broadway, and then I ended up in New York booking a TV show and a movie, and then moved out to LA. But
so where did you do the theater?
At Western Kentucky University, I did theater throughout all my years. I mean, Heidi Chronicles and, The Seagull and a lot of plays. And then I went to New York and I did some off-Broadway, off-Broadway, the Grove Street Playhouse. I did Dracula and I did a couple things. And then as much as I love theater, once I started doing TV and movies, I just stopped doing the theater. And I remember loving theater so much, but then I realized, man, that is difficult to get up and do 3 hours every night and sometimes 2 shows. And as much as I used to love an audience, now I like just single camera stuff.
Right.
I don't like, people talk about those, doing a sitcom. To me, they change lines all the time. I don't know what happened to me, but
it doesn't always happen that way. There are people that do it differently. Like when I was a kid, I snuck into All in the Family and I would watch how they did it. And they would do it like a play. They would come in and just Norman or Bud Yorkin or whoever it was would go in and talk. I was 15. I watched All in the Family getting shot at CBS. And they did it in 90 minutes. They did the half hour. And then they did a second show. And that's how they got the show made. And then I would go see Mary Tyler Moore show getting made. And that would be James L. Brooks and 10 writers descending, which is probably your experience in the 4-camera world, mine too, where, 12 people sometimes, then they would sometimes have 2. The exec producers would be delegated. And then the other writers would stand around pitching ideas for things. And then we would be there going, oh, I like that. What if we say this? And there's different processes.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the process of always changing lines around. It becomes stressful, and it's like I like the idea of learning something, working on it, knowing it inside out, creating a character, and being able to pick up a cup or a phone or do whatever and still be talking. And that's how I always learned. And doing those sitcoms, it kind of I just remember my stress levels were always up, and I didn't find it fun as much as I wanted to get through it, and always striving to be great. and not letting go, where a lot of people say it's the easiest job in the world and you just work, you record on Friday and you're done, you're off Mondays. I never saw it like that. It was a stressful situation for me. And so when I got into single camera stuff, I liked that, and just coming to work and being able to play and really know my stuff and things not changing a lot. I don't like change.
That's good. You're going to make a great old man.
Yeah, I know. Daddies, that's it. We're not going to IHAP.
Don't trim that bush. Leave it the way it is.
Except you, Bob.
Speaking of,
looks bigger.
Speaking of trimming that bush, we're going to take a quick break.
All right.
Yo, yo, yo. It's the season to curl up, sleep in, and get cozy, which means you can't go wrong giving comfy gifts for the holidays. Who doesn't like comfy? I do. And with Purple, you can give the gift of comfort and great sleep to everyone on your list. I don't know how big your list is. It might be 2 people. But if it's 14 and you got the dough, it's just a wonderful thing to invest in because it gives you sleep and rest and comfiness. Purple is a sleep company that's been innovating comfort for over 15 years with their proprietary Purple Grid technology. Purple's best-selling Harmony pillow is made with their signature grid and provides absolute airflow. You hear how I said that? Wispiness, absolute airflow. It's the perfect gift to help keep the hottest of heads cool. Who's got a hot head? I do sometimes. What cools it down? The Harmony pillow with its absolute airflow. Wrapping a mattress in Purple's silky soft breathable sheets will have every sleeper wanting to hit the snooze button even more. And I don't really have a snooze button, but if I did, I would hit it. Whether you're working in an office or at a kitchen table, sitting all day no longer has to be a pain in the butt. That's kind of a dad joke. Purple's seat cushions offer no pressure support and keeps you comfortably cool where it counts, in the butt. Purple seat cushions will make your butt feel comfy. And for the little ones, Purple's Kids Collections has all the essentials to help them dream big. They'll wake up feeling merry and bright every day, having slept on the super soft, moisture-wicking kids' sheets. Your smaller sleepers won't stir at night when they have the cradling support of the kids' pillow, which is made with the same grid technology. Purple is comfortable. It fits your body. It's what you want. It keeps you cool. It makes you happy. And most of all, it makes you comfy. Give the gift of comfort and great sleep with Purple. Go to purple.com/Bob10 and use promo code Bob10. For a limited time, you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. That's purple.com/Bob10, promo code Bob10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/Bob10, promo code Bob10. Terms apply. Okay, it's that time of year. There's holiday, there's flocking, there's jingle bells, there's all kinds of stuff, right? And it's a holiday time. You want to reach out to people. You want to send them cards. You want to send them gifts, gift certificates. You want to send them, I don't know, bills. Maybe they owe you money. Anyway, this holiday season, more people are going to be mailing stuff than ever before, which means the post office is going to be busy. You don't have time for that. So Stamps.com brings the post office and now UPS shipping right to your computer. You can mail and ship anything from the convenience of your home or your office. With Stamps.com, anything you can do at the post office that's legal, you can do with just a few clicks. Plus, Stamps.com saves you money with deep discounts that you can't even get at the post office. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS right to your computer. Where else would you want it? It's so convenient. Stamps.com is a must-have for any business, whether you're a small office sending out invoices, an online seller fulfilling orders during this record-setting holiday season, or even a giant warehouse sending thousands of packages a day. Stamps.com can handle it all with ease. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send it. Once your mail is ready, just schedule a pickup or drop it off. It's that simple. And with Stamps.com, you get 5 cents off every first-class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail and up to 62% off UPS shipping rates. Not to mention, it's a fraction of the cost of those expensive postage meters. Stamps.com is a no-brainer, which is convenient for me because my brain's been missing for months. It saves you time and money. It's no wonder over 900,000 small businesses already use Stamps.com. Don't spend a minute of your holiday season at the post office this year. Sign up for Stamps.com instead. There's no risk. And with my promo code BOB, that's B-O-B, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in BOB. That's Stamps.com and enter BOB. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again. Okay, we're back. I mean, that was exhausting.
Was that Manscaped?
I don't know. I'm not sure because I was still, talking to you privately.
Yeah, I got you.
Even though I listen to all my sponsors because I support them because I have to listen because I recorded it. So, that's important to care about your sponsors because they sometimes pay the bills when the check clears.
I always try to you're like, hey, how do we keep a sponsor along? How do I, I want to give them enough where I'm not just reading it. I'm just kind of like, I want to give them a little something because if people don't think you're selling, it's hard. It's a hard thing. You gotta believe it. You gotta like it. And that's why when they ask me, what do you think about this? I'm like, I could never sell that. Pass. That one, yes. CBD, I got back pain. Yeah,
that's funny. That the CBD, it's hemp, but then I look at some people's podcasts and they're doing stuff I couldn't do because they say express your own sincere opinion about it in your own words about the product. And then I tell my people that do this, they're not my people that I work with. I say, hey, because I own them, because they're chained outside my house and they run the podcast company, and I can't get out of that. God, it just everything you say that sounds wrong, people take it to a place where you don't even mean to take it. Except for the name of your podcast, Inside of You. That there's only one way to take that. And that's,
and I have hats too. And people are like, what's that? I'm like, fuck. It's
see, I could never, but it doesn't say your name on it, right?
It says Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. It's small print. But you know what? I've got, I started doing some merch because people are like, you should have merch on your show. So I have the cool mugs I showed you. And I went to the post office and I was delivering some merch. And the guy, Jose, down in Laurel Canyon, post office, he's like, oh, it's your podcast. You have a mask. And I go, you want me to bring you one? He's like, yeah. So the next time I came, I brought him one. And then I came back a month later and I go, where's your mask? He goes, oh, I got in trouble. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, that's inappropriate. You can't wear your Inside of You Michael Rosenbaum mask. Because it just says Inside of You, the post office. It's just like, that's the first thing you think. The guy getting my boxes, he's got Inside of You. They're like, yeah, we're the U.S.
Yeah, there's something graphic about having it over your mouth. It's different if you had underpants. If you made underpants and it's on the either front or back, it would score.
And then the other person's pants say soon.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
So I have a lot I want to talk about.
You said that 10 minutes ago. You said I have a lot to talk about.
I know, but then I go off on tangents and I ruin everything for everyone. People that don't try their products and back them up. Like, go back in the day, Howard Stern made Snapple happen. They could not have chosen a better person on the earth to make that an actual beverage. In fact, I think they're probably hurting since they're not in that heyday of what he did. But like they'll say to me, hey, these are edible gummies that, have THC in them. And I'm like, well, where's my supply? I didn't get any. Put in your own words how much you like it and how it relaxes you. I said, I don't have words. Where are my gummies? I want my payola.
Yeah, I always ask for product. Like, some companies are like, oh, Echelon, you make a rower? Can I have a rower? And I want to see how good your rower is. Oh, can I have some CBD stuff? Oh, can I have a Theragun? Sure. I want to use these things.
I know. I'm getting all kinds of new sponsors, flamethrowers, machine guns. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for the great battle of wits that's happening right now. Have you been stressed during all of this through quarantine? And
Yeah, extremely. In the beginning, it reduced my stress because it was an excuse. The FOMO. There was nothing you're not missing out on anything. I'm at home. Everybody else is at home. I'm not missing things. I'm a hermit in a lot of ways anyway. And I like it. But then, my dog got real sick and almost died. I had to carry the dog. Oh, it's defecating all over the place to the emergency room. I'm crying. I'm trying to. So we saved the dog, and then like a week later, we don't have to get into it because we talk about it in my podcast. But my sister died, and then then I found out I had skin cancer. So I was like,
wait a minute, I didn't know about the skin cancer. I know, but
it was on my thigh. It wasn't a big deal, but it was a little weird to hear the doctor. I had this little dot on my thigh. I'm telling you, it was raised, and then it grew twice the size in about a week. And I go,
did it itch? Did it itch? Because they sometimes itch.
It itched. And I said to my friend Carrie, I go, what do you think? She's like, she's a nurse. She goes, I would just get it checked out. So I went to the doctor, Dr. Rifkin, who's amazing. And
he's out of jail?
He's out of jail now.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? It's probably nothing. Let's just get rid of it. And then 2 weeks later, I'm hanging out with a friend, and I go, oh, it's the dermatology. Hold on. Hello? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I have cancer. Yes. It was just weird hearing that, even if it's skin cancer and it was squamous, it's kind of there's like something and then squamous and then melanoma. They go, it's nothing really to worry about. We see this a lot. It's still in your head. You have cancer.
That your body is susceptible for it to grow.
Right. So I went in there and they cut it out. It was a big fucking chunk, man. You want to see a picture of this?
I'd like to see it. Do you have it?
Yeah, they pulled a fucking chunk out of him. I was like,
you can't cook that up, can you?
Huh?
Like John Lennon supposedly ate his kid's placenta, which probably isn't true at all. But he cooked it up right. I mean, he did it in a skillet and everything. But I don't think he did it. I think almost everything we've ever been told is bullshit. I'm the opposite of a conspiracy theorist. I think so much of it is how people. It's very hard to sift through. Even people go, let's get back to the days of Walter Cronkite. We had one newscaster giving us the one news, 3 people, Huntley and Brinkley and him. And okay, we're going to see your, I'm glad you.
This is gross. So, guys.
Everybody look away.
But there it is.
Is that your penis?
That's my left penis.
Whoa. So that's a little bean. They took out a bean.
Yeah, it's like a little bean. And so,
Now, where was it?
It was like right on my thigh. So
what's that? Is that your vagina? What was that?
My vagina, my stitched vagina. But I told him, I said, I remember lying there and I go, you're going to numb me, right? He goes, oh, I already took it out of you. He was that quick and good. And that didn't
is that little bean that you just showed me, is that like an inch long?
It was about that big.
That's about an inch.
It was bigger than an inch. Yeah, it was bigger. I
can't really tell on the Zoom. How big would you say your penis? How big?
Your pants. Look in your pants and just.
I can't get my fingers apart that much. I can't even. Some people, the loser thing is really a measurement for some people, but I can't get my thumb to stretch long enough for all of the activity.
I said it on my podcast. I said it, and it wasn't to get, honestly, I sort of got not to get attention, but I go, what do you do for the podcast? You talk about things and you're vulnerable and the guests open up about things. So they get something, you get something, it helps everybody.
And so then the audience really has some entertainment and some human connection because a lot of people are alone right now. They are really alone. They're alone. I
have to admit it. I wanted to say, hey, listen, it's nothing to worry about. My doctor's not worried, but I want to tell you, if you have something on your leg or your arm or your neck, just go get it checked out because it was actually cancer. And they can just get rid of it.
Did they check your whole body for all that stuff?
Yeah, he looked at my shaft, my scrotum, the tainted lung.
Did he remove your penis?
They didn't remove the penis, but he checked everything. And he said, I said, is this going to come back? He goes, well, probably not this one, but you'll probably have others. And I go, oh, fuck. Just come in here every 6 months. So that's what I do.
Do you lay in the sun? Is that how it could happen? Because vitamin D is very good for you. However, the sun, because, we're burning the cerebral cortex of the earth, which doesn't exist if the world is flat and that, Democrats eat babies in a Pizzagate. But
No, this, what was the question again?
I don't know. I went all QAnon on you. And why give them press?
No, I just, look, the whole thing was quick, and people learn from, whatever, it's like, hey, you talking about your divorce on my podcast, you talking about this, people go, oh, hey, he went through it.
Well, I could show you a picture of my ex-wife. You can show me a picture of your cancerous melanoma. That's what you can show me.
Thank you.
That's your significant other.
Yeah. And
it's kind of a divorce. It was a divorce of a, but I don't like that it's cancerous. So you want to always check. Do you get a colonoscopy?
I had one. By the way, it's similar though, like a spouse or whatever, cancer. You want to say, goodbye. You're killing me.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you're a cancer.
And people say that about people in their lives that have turned negative on them. And a lot of people listening right now,
you're a cancer.
Are right now, not the sign, not in the Scorpio Venus kind of way, but there is no Venus, but you're an Aries, but to have people in your life that aren't moving you forward, that are negative, that mistreat you. People always say get the cancer. You have to remove the cancer from your life. And that's pretty extreme, because you could take someone, say it's your parent, and you want, and people are saying that parent of mine is a cancer in my life, and I have to remove them from my life. You could also give that parent, even if they're not cancer ridden, chemo and radiation, just to even if they don't have any cancer, just to remove the cancer from your life. If you were incredibly stupid, if you had no IQ, and there's people out there right now that are taking my advice, and they're going to get
it. But Bob's here for you. But with all that, I think it is true. It's like, it takes you a while, but how many times have you had someone in your life for years and gone, if you just ask yourself one day, what purpose do they serve? What do they do for me? And I'm not saying monetarily, or I'm saying, what do they provide you with? Because you give them all these things like your attention and your therapy, and walk them off a ledge. And like, do they help you? No, they take from you. They take the energy out of you, the money out of you, whatever it is. And do they give anything back? If you have a friend that's just fun to be around, that's enough. Or loyal.
Well, that's what that's the definition of a friend, not who loans you money, because you don't want to borrow money either. I've made the mistake of loaning money in my life, not to a friend, but to an acquaintance, and of course never saw it again. You're giving money away when you loan it. And has nothing to do with friendship. It does if you really want to help somebody that you love a lot, and that's different, especially if it's a kid or someone. That's a gift if you can afford it.
Absolutely. But when people always are asking you for money, and they're always the victim, and they're always broke, and they can't figure it out, and they can't budget their lives, and it's almost like once I started making money, certain people needed my money.
Yeah.
They needed money. They didn't ask me for money when I didn't have money, because they knew I didn't, but they didn't ask me. But suddenly when you have money, they ask you for it. Well, I didn't know you ever needed money before.
But I never even I just go across the board. I don't loan money. But if you have a charity you want me to give to, and I do a lot of that. I mean, I do as much as I can. I have a cousin who I love to this day. Haven't talked to in years, because he kind of threw the family away, kind of turned on the whole family, and couldn't just let bygones be bygones, or whatever the expression from the Great Depression, which is next year. But he wanted me to, he came up with this invention that you would use. I can't get too specific because I don't want to upset him, but you would use, how do I explain it? It was just an invention, okay? And you used it in your bathroom, and wanted me to put my face on the box like you would back in the day. This is like, it must have been 20 years ago when he asked me to do this. And he said, might have been longer. I mean, it might have been like 1998 or something. Maybe 20 years ago. So, and it would have had me on the product, and it would have been sold, on infomercials, and it would have been sold in, in Costco or in Kmart or whatever, Target or whatever. And I just said, I don't do this. This isn't me. There really isn't enough money for me to do that. I just, that's not me. I'm not here to be famous and I don't want to be doing that. I'll do other stuff. I have other things that I do, many different things, none of them well. But he didn't talk to me after that. I never spoke to him again because he never forgave me, really, for not helping him with his great invention, which is not really, it was a good invention for people that couldn't afford plumbing.
Well, 20 years ago, we didn't have plumbing, so.
Back in the day, it's a perfect invention for the Amish.
Right.
Exactly. I'm upset about that because there's people in my life that I share family history with that I wish things were different. But yet I find myself now, and I bet you feel the same way, and we talked about this a little bit on your podcast, Inside of You, is that we are reaching out to people more, I think, or I alluded to it with you. During quarantine, it's like the conversation just picks up. And I am really holding close to my heart the people that mean something to me now. Do you find that?
Yeah, I do. And also, what's great about doing this podcast is the friends that I have on, like you and I talked for an hour on mine. Now we're talking for an hour, hopefully not more. But
no, it's actually we're gonna go. We're not gonna go. We're gonna keep going.
Good, because what I'm saying
because we're gonna get. I want to know more about. I want to see more of the cancer and the holes with the stitches. I want to see that.
How dare you?
That Frankenstein shit.
Don't you think it's great that for me, I'm talking to these people like yourself and others that I consider friends, but then you really talk to them for an hour, and you're like, wow. I haven't gotten this deep with this person ever. I feel like I'm actually closer to them. So doing the podcast has enhanced friendships.
That's completely accurate. And that has happened a lot over the years, even with people doing talk shows. You would do a talk show and all of a sudden you'd hit it off with someone and say, hey, do you want to exchange numbers? Of course, I'm not mentioning, that wouldn't be David Letterman or Johnny Carson, but I did have, while I was doing those shows, I had a closeness with them that was instantaneous, not unlike this. But podcasts are different. They're full-length form, and the conversation grows into something. And then you and I, when things are back, or when we're out, when there's the vaccine's been proven and it doesn't freeze your private parts, it's got to be in 30 degree below censored. I know. I'm just having trouble because
30 degrees Celsius.
What is the census? I refuse to fill it out. But the Poles were wrong. Why is it always the Poles? The Scandinavians could have been wrong. The Yugoslavians. See, it's a pun. Remember Polish jokes? That's why we don't do them. It's really important to me.
What's that?
That we take this quick break. Well, the holidays are here. Have you guys made your wish list yet? Our sponsor today has the number one wished for gift of the year. I'm telling you, it's the number one wished for gift of the year, and it's Manscaped. Manscaped, I said it again, the best in men's below and above the belt grooming. Manscaped is here to ensure you're taking care of your manhood and your nose hairs with their new performance package. Now, I know that your manhood is not near your nose hairs unless you're able to do that thing. And if you can, you don't leave the house. You know that one. Ho, 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 fellas. Naughty or nice, 'tis the season to perform. I've got the stuff. They sent it to me, and I love it. I use the nose hair trimmer. I use the cropper. I'll tell you all about all the stuff. The weed whacker, the lawnmower, all this stuff works. I happen to like to be groomed up for Christmas. I got 12 days of Christmas. Each day, I just shave and pluck more hairs. Anyway, you are in luck because the Manscaped Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle and makes the perfect gift. Imagine opening an attractive box that says, your balls will thank you, with the most sought-after gadgets and scents a person could find. Seriously, your balls will thank you if your balls could talk. And if they can, you should be in the fair. Included in this new package is the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, which is waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. I've got it. I use it. It's the Weed Whacker, and it makes my ears, I can hear better, gets rid of those chia ears that I got going, and you can use it on your nose hairs, which they love it. My nose hairs talk to me before I trim them out. Look, guys, 79% of partners polled admitted that long nose hair is a major turnoff. Why not use the best tools for the job here? You could go, she loves me not, and pull out a nose hair one after the other. That hurts. It's not good for the inside of your nose. But the nose hair trimmer, the Weed Whacker, it does it for you, and you don't have to ask if she loves you not. She loves you because you've done it right up inside that nose. So this bundle includes the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer, the best trimmer on the market for your balls, butt, and body. That's right, alliteration always works. The dads can't stop talking about this, the teens secretly buy it, and the women and men will love you for it. It's all good, it's all clean, it's all for the holidays. 'Tis the season to manscape, so get yourself, your dad, your brother, I hope they're different people, and your friends the best gift of all, the Manscaped Performance Package. Let's not forget their famous liquid formulations either. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner to maximize your ball hygiene routine. Wake up those balls with Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver. It's the Crop Preserver. Get the Performance Package now to receive their 2 free gifts, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. The Performance Package is the best value that Manscaped has to offer and is hot off the shelves. It's hot, and your balls will be thankful. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SAGET20, that's SAGET20, at manscaped.com. Thank you, Manscaped, for making our holes look sexy. Again, that's get 20% off and free shipping with the code SAGET20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code SAGET20. What are you waiting for? Go whack your weeds and make Santa proud. And we're back. So now we can talk forever because I got
a lot of sponsors.
Well, I take 2 breaks. I like to take 2 breaks. It gives you a chance to take a breath. And I think I caught you while you were taking a sip of this giant jug of whatever the hell that is.
You see this, my friend Jess got me this, and it makes you drink the amount of water you're supposed to drink in a day, because on the back it says, by this point, it's good morning. You've drank, by 9 a.m., you've drank this much. You've got it. And it goes on, don't stop. Let's get it. Keep drinking. No excuses. You just pissed your pants, and well done. But it didn't say that. But it goes, I know I need to drink one of these in the day. So I need to drink the rest of it. And it's kind of I need something like that. I have ADD. I forget it. I'll have a root beer. I'll talk to you for an hour, and I'm dehydrated.
But 3/4 of the way down, shouldn't it just say you just drank all your backwash? This isn't water at this point.
Oh yeah, I didn't read that part.
Now wait a minute. You're ADD. So are you high def? Are you ADHD? What's the difference?
No, I run a security system.
Through your brain?
ADT, I said.
ADT. How about ATM? Don't you think that, money machines, ATMs, don't you think they're upset that it has another connotation in a more foul world?
Wait, what does ATM stand for?
I can't tell you because it would be gross. It deals with your butt and then someone else's mouth.
Oh, ass to mouth. Is that what it means?
I don't talk that way, but if you want to go there, I can't stop you. ATM is a well-known thing, but it's also where you get your money, which means if you put your mouth on someone else's ass, odds are money's going to come out of that ass, and you're going to come into money.
Put your money where your
ass is. Well, enough about my childhood. So how do you deal with being ADD? What do you do? What do you do besides
your tone? You're like, how do you deal with
How do you deal with that besides being inside of me?
I've embraced it. I don't want to like, it's like, there's certain parts of you that you don't want to, I could sit here all day and go, I need a pill for this and I need a pill for that. And I'm this and I can't. The reality is you don't want to lose your personality. So I never really was on any pills for the most part. And then the last couple of years, I went to someone I really trusted and they're like, I think you could benefit. I think people's chemistry, their brain chemistry, everybody's different. And if you need a little something to make you feel a little more normal or a little bit more focused or a little more, it's not a bad thing.
I totally believe it in proper medical treatment.
Exactly. At a young age, I should have been diagnosed. I could not focus at all. If you looked at my report cards, D's, C's, F, D, Michael cannot keep his attention. He disrupts class. He does this. I was like, and nobody was calm with me. My father didn't sit with me and go, I'm going to have patience with me.
I'm a dad of 3 amazing daughters, and I think I was deficient. I know now what I didn't know then.
We all are.
But I wish I could have done that because my freneticness, my workaholic insanity spread through the house. My ex-wife, their mom, was dealing with me. And my wife now, my wonderful Kelly is her name, I think. I'm not sure. She says it is. But she deals with, I'm not an easy person. And do you think that's maybe why you're single? Because you feel that no one would get you because you have stuff?
I think there's that. Definitely, I've always had that I'm not good enough. No matter how much success I have, I always feel like you don't deserve it. You're not. Now I've been working on that, and but that again stems from childhood. It really does. Like when you feel you're not good enough, or no matter what you do, it's not enough.
Right.
You have to find it within you really and that takes some, people have always looked down on therapy, but now it's becoming a little, we're normalizing it by having these conversations and talking about things. And it's important. And by doing that, I realize, wait a minute, how did I get this far? You didn't get this far because you're stupid. You didn't get this far because there's things that you start to realize. And when it doesn't matter if you, like I could go up and I remember, I was doing stand up and I had a great night, 500 people or whatever, packed house comedy store and 25 minutes and everyone's laughing, a big applause. I feel the jokes landing and I feel great. And then I wake up and I feel like shit.
Well, welcome to stand up.
It goes back the whole way. It's like, oh my God, I'm not going to be that good. And then you start stressing and anxiety.
And how do I repeat last night? And we've heard that a lot from people. There's that famous Laurence Olivier story where someone comes backstage and says to him, that was the most amazing performance I've ever seen. And he's supposedly very teary and depressed. And they say, why are you so upset? And supposedly he says, I don't know how I did it. I mean, he was there for it, but he doesn't know how it just happened. And the answer is we're human beings. And you can be the best actor in the world. And certain people that are, including him, their stuff that would get thrown on the floor in the editing room is everybody else's best take. They're that good. But tell me about the stand-up. How long did you do stand-up for?
Well, I'll tell you this, by the way. I thought you were going to say Laurence Olivier. I was going to say this because in my mind, this is what I imagined right when you gave the punchline of what Olivier said. I thought of what I would say. And when they said, hey, you were great tonight, and with tears in his eyes, I would have said, but what about tomorrow night?
Right, which is what he was saying. It's the same.
What I was saying, it's the same. It's yeah, exactly. It's always that you want to be great. I got to be great. And that's why I'm doing things like music and like art, things like.
Okay, so let's go art. Are you an oil painter?
No, I went to what do you call it?
Commune?
No.
A cult?
Rehabilitation center, but not for drugs or alcohol, but just my mind needed to really start to figure myself out. So I went away, which really freaked a lot of
How long did you go for?
3 weeks, 21.
But that's a short thing. I mean, I've had a lot of
intense though. I was there in Connecticut, 21 days, meetings all day. It's an investment. And I learned a lot about myself. And, on my schedule, it said art therapy. And I go, fuck that. Can we do some, let's do some real fuck. I want to get in my brain. They're like, no, try this. I'm like, I don't really want to do art. And they're like, why don't you just try it?
And the more you say that, the more they know that's the trigger. That's the answer.
Well, I went, and this is funny. It's like day 2. And I'm like, I remember day 1. I'm like, I'm not treatable. You always feel like, there's other guys that have made.
Everybody listening thinks they're not treatable. Most of them will never go to therapy. 1, they can't afford it. 2, some of the therapists just suck.
That's true.
I've had horrible therapists. I've had people in my life, which, genetically the DNA in my family leads you to therapy or psychiatry. They have no choice. And I've watched malpractice type stuff and big pharma shoving shit down your throat and just to sell the drugs, and it's garbage and it's lies. Right. And we've been through all that, but then there are things that work. So now art therapy day 2, are you saying that was a miracle for you?
I went, the woman's name was Comer, and she said, okay. And I remember looking at her thinking, what have I become? I'm talking to this woman about to do art class. And I go, listen.
Would it have been different had she been a man?
No. It didn't matter.
I'm trying to call you out and get you canceled.
Yeah, you're right.
Talking to this woman.
So anyway, no, but I looked at her. I go, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not good at art. She goes, doesn't matter. I go, listen, I'm colorblind. I can't,
Well, you have an excuse for everything.
Right. Well, get ready.
How do you feel? Here's a picture of my melanoma. Wow.
Yeah.
Why won't you go out with me again?
I know. I sat at this table and she goes, well, you could try the acrylics or the pastels and I go, I'm looking at her, I can't differentiate these fucking colors. She goes, just pick a color. So I'm drawing, Bob. And she goes, just draw and don't think about anything. Just do it. I don't care if you draw circles. And I'm telling you, I'm starting to draw and I'm doing these things and 15 minutes goes by and I'm kind of lost and just like, whatever. And I look up at this sweet woman who's sitting across from me, Comer, and she's doing her thing. And I look up at her and I just started crying. And she looked at me and she goes, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. She goes, no, we could stop. Or she goes, I didn't realize you hated art this much. No, she didn't say that. And I said, no, listen, I'm telling you, I didn't think about this, Bob. This just came out of me. It was cathartic. I said, I got F's in art. My art teacher wasn't really nice to me. No one took the time with me to, I was colorblind. I could, and all of a sudden it all came out. And I remember going to high school, and when I walked by the art class, the smell of art class freaked me out. I was like, it just scared me. It was a failure. It's something that I'm hiding, like away from, like, get away from me. I can't do that. I'm not made. And so my whole life, I didn't even realize it, but I wouldn't do it because I was so bad at it, and I was ridiculed, and I was like, as a kid. And all of a sudden I looked at her, I go, and here's you taking the time and being patient with me and calm. And
this is all you ever needed.
And it came out, and I was like, wow. And so when I came back to LA, I just said, hey, I'm going to have an art night. And I told my friends, like, this is kind of what happened. You can call it weird or stupid or cheesy, but I don't have to be great. I could just draw, and it doesn't matter. And I'm not a good artist at all. And you don't have to be. And what she was saying, what the whole thing is you don't always have to be great. You don't always have to be good. It's just about being in the moment. And honestly, it sounds ridiculous, but
no, it doesn't. It sounds exactly correct. And the other thing is to get past the childhood traumas. And there's some people that have been through more trauma than you or I will ever know. And I know people that have been, and I'm close with people that have been through the worst things that can happen to a person. The worst, including death, including heinous things and being victimized, horrific stuff. And to somehow move forward from that, that's people that are listening that don't go to therapy that can even hear that. that they can be okay, that they can review in their own mind. It'd be great to go to a professional that understands the roots of all that. But and not to be afraid of the right med either. Were you on Ritalin at some point as a kid?
No, I was never on anything as a kid. In fact, I wasn't on anything until I went through a breakup, and it was pretty rough. And
Would you say rougher on you because of your sensitive demeanor?
Yeah, I felt like I had failed. I had really failed, and it hit me, and I just didn't know how to deal with it. And it was the first loss that I think I really had. I mean, I was dating this gorgeous, beautiful woman inside out, and I was young, and I thought, you know what, I'm taking a break. I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to, I'm still going to. And I said, I'm taking a break. And then by the time I was ready and came back, and I was like, wow, something hit, and I knew that it was right. She had moved on. And it was just like you don't change. People don't change until what their actions cause, like loss. When you're responsible for real loss, and I could have had something great, but my ego and all these other things got in the way. And then that made me pay attention to your ego and what you want out of life. And it just made me go, this is a reality check, dude. Don't let the great things that are in front of you get away. Don't let, and then after that, it was worse because I'd get in relationships and stay in them thinking, oh, I don't know, maybe there's something good about this person. I should stay in this longer. And then you end up being in it too long because you don't want to recreate what happened in the past. And you
also don't want to go through the breakup process, which is one of the worst things that you can have. I mean, I've been divorced, and divorce was worse than death sometimes because it never ends sometimes. And other times it's like, it doesn't matter who, well, it hurts more, I guess, if you're as Woody Allen called it, always a good frame of reference for relationships. But actually, yes, that might upset some people, but he said, don't discount leaver guilt. So are you the leaver or the leavee? And the leaver has a lot of guilt, and people go, well, that's just bullshit because you're the one that left me. But that's it. I still haven't always gotten over how it's affected everybody, including my ex-wife and my kids. We got products of divorce all through this world. Your parents did not get divorced.
Oh yeah, they did.
Your parents got divorced.
My parents.
That's the Chris Farley interviewer.
So your parents weren't divorced. Your parents were divorced. Yeah. Well, let me tell you something about my.
Oh my God, do I miss him?
God, he was my favorite comedian of all time. Favorite comedian. I had some great moments with him. I just, there's nobody that committed like that guy. Talk about commitment.
He couldn't control it. It was literally him. And I directed Dirty Work, which was his last film.
Wow.
And so I got to spend, it was just a week, but he was there every day. And he was not healthy. And I felt so sad, and I loved him so much. And I tried to be like a dad to him because that's what he needed. And, but you can't babysit people. I've
learned that lesson where, I've always been, I think, sort of a parent in a lot of ways to my family. And, even from, out of college, like when my parents got divorced after 27 years.
Whoa. So how old were you when they got divorced?
Well, my mom was married and she had my brother and sister, and then she got divorced, and at like 19 years old, already with 2 kids. She was pregnant at 16. She married my dad when she was 23 with a 5 and 7-year-old, and my dad was 18. So they got married 27 years.
Forgive me for saying this, but your mom's horny.
Probably. I
know you don't think of her that way, but I'm just here to help you.
No, but when they got divorced, I definitely became I remember even my brother talking to me about, like talking him off the ledge, my older brother and my sister, many times. Just I was always the one people went to. I was always the media, the one in the middle that was just trying to make everybody like each other. And
I did that also, and I've assumed, and what I've learned through my work on myself is that I want that role. It was given to me for a reason, and I'm not trying to get spiritual or anything. It's just it's in my face all the time to have that role, and I like it and I accept it. So I get it with people that like my work, don't like my work. Well, most of the time I don't. I do hear from them also, but I love taking care of my wife and my kids and people I care about.
That's different. You're a dad, and that's different.
But emotionally I mean, you know, to be there to really hold people up, and people come to me.
That's okay, Bob. That's okay. But when
I used to resent it because I went, who takes care of me? Which then I go,
yep.
And then I go, wait a minute. So I got to take care of me. And then you know what happened when I started to learn to take care of myself? And we were going back, this has gone back an hour in our conversation right now, but it's to forgive yourself for stuff you did, which is stuff we talked about earlier that I didn't get to say. And then love yourself, which is one of the hardest things in the world to do for many, many people. And if you love yourself and it's the ego love, then that's not real, because that's not going to get anywhere. If it's all ego and id, I know I've just lost most of the people. But if it's true love and go, this is the best. I made mistakes, but I did it my way. But to know that you're proud of yourself. To be proud of yourself it's one of the best feelings that I've experienced when I've helped people, when my daughters have said, Dad, you know, we appreciate you so much. And then I say, look right in their eyes and say, how much do you need? Because it's all about money. No, I'm just kidding.
But I hear you, Bob. I do, and it makes sense. But yeah, loving yourself, that's another thing. That's something that, you know, I've been working on.
But you're a great guy. And
it's easy to,
I feel like slapping you around. I feel like that's why I don't like this quarantine, because I would just bam, bam. Because I've known you a long time. Of course, I mean, my ego was out of control when I was 30 and I had 2 shows in the top 10. Does that make a person who's real kind and takes care of everybody? No, your ego's all over the place. You go on talk shows, you're a warrior, you know? And not a worrier. And
a warrior or a worrier?
It's the Jew doesn't know. Well, a Jewish person, if they've been through World War II, then they're both, because they got through. But
you won't get canceled for that statement.
No. Well, I will for people that don't like the Jewish people, because they're part of something that believes something that's stupid and nuts, because they have the education of a pizza parlor that eats kids. Sorry, I really want that edited out, but I couldn't help it, so maybe we'll keep it. I don't cut the show too much because I'm afraid to. But what I was going to say is, you're such a special guy, and you are smart, and you're what grandmothers would call a good catch. So
yeah, you know, it certainly is nice to hear it. And, you know, my grandmother says it and people will say it. And I'm humble and I'm appreciative and I take it in. But it's very hard for me to believe it. There's a difference. I hear it and I'm like, well, Bob doesn't really know me. That's why he's saying that. I'm saying things that make him think that I'm a good guy. I'm not saying I'm a serial killer.
Well,
I'm saying,
do you want to contact me when you're really at your worst, and then I can be a real judge of it? You know, when you're really like going crazy, like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, that kind of thing, when you're in the mirror and pus is coming out of your mouth.
I don't think, like, I haven't, you know, it's not a matter of like, it's just in essence sort of how you feel. I think I'm just constantly working on myself, and I'm like, okay, you're doing a good thing. But I think that there's still something else. I think, you know, what's his name? Who, God kill me for forgetting, he passed away, and Gary Shandling.
Yeah.
Gary
Well,
Shandling,
I started with Gary.
that whole, I don't know, esoteric sort of like that, in his book, in the documentary that Judd Apatow did, and he was searching for a higher, just a sense of just something else. There's got to be more. There's got to be. I want a sense of just being. Look, people have talked about this since the beginning of time. You just want to be able to be. You don't want to try. You can just be yourself. And I absolutely, when I watched that, when I was reading, I felt, I get it. Because there's certain things in your life that have made you hurt, and they're glued to you. They stick to you. And no matter how much you work on them, for some reason, they stay with you. They're there.
Well, he has a couple of things where he was betrayed, and that carried on later in his life. And I was in his life for a long time, and then not in his life. And that's in the documentary and my conflict. But the biggest betrayal that he had was that his brother died, and his parents never told him. He just wasn't there anymore. And I don't think there's something that's like a sin against nature to not have at least that level of communication with your kid, that your brother didn't just go away, that he passed away.
Right.
And that's who do you trust after that? And if you get burned again, how do you forgive after that?
Well, I think there's an element to what you're saying and how I feel. It's not that you think, oh my God, I'm a bad hurt person, I should go to hell. I don't think that, but I'm just, you have these movie posters around you, and I've had success, and I have great friends who love me, and I have family, and I have, you look on the out, it's easy to say, what are you talking about? You got it all. It's easy to go look around you and go, I do, look at this. But to be able to take it in, you got to think that there's something else, that what's my purpose? Like, really, I think that's what we're all striving for, where it's not just about, success, and it's success in something else. And it's hard to really lock in.
Well, it's not at all, because those are externals. They're the outcome of putting in the right kind of work that affects people, that makes people laugh, that affects them emotionally. I mean, I truly have, and maybe it's part of what this reset that we've all been forced into against our will, that just happened, and that I have more purpose for what I want to do than I ever have in my whole life. And I think it's kind of reinvigorated me to do what I'm doing, and to entertain, and or tell a story, I love directing. You love directing. The movie you directed was just a few years ago too.
I directed a little raunchy film called Back in the Day with our buddy Harlan Williams, Nick Swartzen, Marina Baccarin. And it was a joy. It was a little $600,000 movie in my hometown of Indiana. And it was incredibly difficult, very fulfilling. But that was, I think that's part of it. Is I'm always doing so many things, and I get bored easily. And then I'm like, well, you're not acting right now. It's like, well, why aren't you doing that? And then my mind is always spinning, and it needs a break. Sometimes it needs a break, and it doesn't take breaks. And
you need help with that, and that can come through, as meditation, or it can come through the proper med mix. I mean,
sure, but
I know people on Lexapro, and it's made them focus, but then they can't go to sleep. So
no, but I will say that you're right. This quarantine has changed me in a lot of ways, but ultimately, I think when I think of like, what's my gift, what's my purpose, I really believe it is to help people in some way, to help people, to connect to people, to and I do try to do that, but I always feel like I don't do it enough. I'm not helping enough.
But you're doing enough. You're doing it, then do it a little more. Just why be hard on yourself? Just do it a little more. You were not this person when I met you 2 decades ago. You were not this guy. You were not, and I was not this guy. We were hitting on the same person. We were it was like the days of Entourage. We were kooky, I was.
You know what it is? It's about, my whole life, it's like, you get attention. I'm the center of attention. You're the center of attention. You walk in a room, you make people laugh. And we put on a show. And sometimes you're like, it's the same story. It's like, and maybe that's okay though. Maybe that's how when I go in a room, whether it's celebrities or whether it's people I don't know, celebrities, or I feel like to be accepted, I have to just.
No, all you have to do is be yourself. And if that happens to be an amped up person that has a lot of energy at that moment, that's fucking fine. But if it's a person that wants to say nothing, there's strength in that also. Now, if you're saying nothing because you're intimidated or you feel like I don't belong here, or how did that person like me, or, oh my God, I interrupted that person, why did I do that? I'm kind of over that because I've done that off and on my whole life in an erotic way. Every interpersonal relationship, I'd be like, oh my God, that person, what do they think? And they're not thinking what I'm thinking. They're thinking, it's not all about us. Everybody's got so much shit going on right now.
Exactly.
And some people are doing amazing in their career and they're still not happy. And some people are doing amazing in their career and they're thrilled. And some people don't want to work at all and they're happy. And some people are depressed on every level it could be. They've got kids that are sick. They're sick. I mean, you're lucky you're able to show me a picture of a stitched up little tumor taker outer.
There was nothing. I told you it was nothing.
You should actually put that as your Tinder profile picture. Just that removed little melanoma.
Cancer survivor. Skin cancer survivor.
Swipe right and you'll see you get to open these stitches. Or swipe right and you'll see who this came out of.
Right. All of a sudden, it's like this nice picture of me, and look at that. Oh, he's kind of okay. And like, oh, he plays hockey. And then, what the fuck is this?
Oh, is that a severed wiener? What is that?
What is that?
And then they contact you and they go, what is that? So you actually used it to your advantage. And you go, oh, it was only about 3/4 of an inch long and it came out of me, but it was on my thigh.
Oh, that was an accident. I didn't mean to put that picture in there.
How'd that get there? I was cooking kidney pie. It looks like a kidney.
It does.
It looks edible. It looks like something you would eat. Well, I don't know. I would. I'm not a cannibal, but that thing looked tasty. You're a little bit of cancer. I mean, I think that would be really good with like a brown sauce.
Maybe some brown rice.
Brown rice? But you need more of them. So is there any way you can grow a whole bunch of them?
I'm going to throw up. Please, I don't want to grow any more.
How do you smoke?
No, I smoke intermittently. I was smoking. Like, I've never been a smoker my whole life. It's like, all of a sudden I'm smoking for 3 months and then I'm not smoking and then I'm smoking socially. And then now I'm vaping a little bit. I don't like it. I'm just doing it to get away from cigarettes.
Does it calm you down?
I don't think so. I think I don't need to do anything. I think that, I think I've got to learn to exercise more and stay in my routine. And
same here. I've been exercising a lot. I've been, I put a pinky in my butt and I move my pelvic area.
That's good. It's good. Hit the shit.
I burned 1/4 calorie and then one of those little beans that you had removed just fell out of my butt. I don't know what it was. When things get really upsetting at their very worst, I say the worst thing I possibly could, unless it's, the person's crying and, that's different,
I think I think with certain people, especially if you know someone well enough, you sort of know what they need. I have a friend who it's always funny and always fun. And I've seen him cry twice. He's a very close friend, a big comedian. And when he cries, he wants me to fuck with him. He wants me to be there. But also he wants a little bit like, do you want me to, comb your butt hair? What do you want me to do to you? What can I do to you to make you happy?
And it's also attitude, because I've had that happen in my life with people very close to me where they are just gone and they just don't see any hope. And I've been able to just make a complete nonsensical comment. And they look at me and they just laugh because it takes you out of it. And that's what comedy in its best form does. It just does it. It's not just comedy. It's anything that takes you out of it. And they don't want it. People that are hurting don't want to hear, it's not like you had your foot cut off like this kid. Look at this. And you got your picture on your iPhone oddly right there to show people your little tumor boy. Could have been your kid. You could have cloned it. Do you see yourself in being in a relationship, or do you think do you feel done? Because when I felt done is when I met my wife.
I think I'm capable. I do think I'm capable of being in a relationship. And I think when you meet someone that you just feel like you can do anything, like you can just be, I
don't think that exists because
I do.
Well, it does, but I don't think it does because you have to respect certain boundaries. Like I was going, I'm so happy that I'm married. I go, finally, I can do whatever the hell I want, be whoever I am. And that one night where I had a drink and I decided to be belligerent a little bit in a way of not belligerence, but yeah, I can be an asshole. I can just be, I yell at the TV, or I'll go, what the hell is this person saying? Oh, they should be in the town square and people should be throwing apples at their head in a stockade. And that's not what your significant other necessarily wants to be around. So, but that's me going negative, but also doing whatever I want to do. And that's basically what you should do if you're not around anybody else, or you're with a bunch of people that are like-minded, angry like you are. And that's what's wrong with the world right now. It was a bunch of people angry together yelling at the TV.
I'll take that back in a way because it's not exactly what I meant, but I feel like
I'm sorry I took something from you that I didn't interpret properly.
No,
this is my fault, and I'm never going to forgive myself.
Yeah, well, you're being belligerent right now.
Yes. I'm going to literally take a hammer and smash my penis on a chest of drawers. I'm going to teach it a lesson.
It's funny because I had a therapist, the best therapist I've ever had, say to me, I know this is how he talked. Dr. Kessler. He said, I know this is going to sound whatever, but I really believe, Michael, if you allow yourself to love, if you could really just love someone and be loved, and it's going to be very difficult for you, but if you could do it, I think you will soar.
I agree with that. And
that was something that would just hit me profoundly, that I'm like, wow. But in order to do that, you have to allow yourself to just let go. And because look, being single most of my life intermittently and in and out of stuff, it's like, if I could, why not give it a shot if nothing else is working?
Well, I don't even think you should look at it that way. I mean, all you can do is not be thinking about the problem most people have when they're single and they're looking for somebody is that they are trying to find that Mr. Right, Miss Perfect, and whatever you're trying to find that you're looking for, no matter who you are, that works with you. Relationships, if it's all happy all the time, it's Stepford. It's not real. And it's just not real. You have to go through arguments. You have to communicate. You have to resolve. And I'll tell you something. This is personal. Last night, Kelly and I were watching this show, and she's not going to like this, but I have to tell this. There were feathers coming out of one of the pillows on the couch in the den, and she just started like throwing them at me, pulling them out of the pillow and putting little feathers on me, and I didn't like it. It really bothered me. And then to get back at her, she'd brought some healthy chips out with some healthy fake cheese dip that wasn't cheese. Everything's fake. Nothing's real around here.
Vegan cheese.
Oh, my God. It's made out of, I don't know, some plant that died.
And you started throwing chips out.
No, I crumbled it up and put it down the back of her shirt. So I'm a 9-year-old. You don't mess with a guy like me. I'm a messed up guy. This is my problem. And then she said, why did you do? We're laughing, but I took it way too far. All she did was throw feathers at me. So then I had to go get the dust buster. So then I'm now vacuuming her back. And then she's got I vacuumed the couch, and then I realized, oh no, I gotta clean her up. Let me get that shirt off and see if there's any more. And from the moment the shirt came off to help vacuum, and the next step is the dust buster is on the table, and let's just say the cards were in my favor after that, and it was just we didn't get back to the TV for how long it takes me, at least 2 minutes. So
2 minutes. That's amazing.
We only missed a commercial, but it was fun. It was.
I love that.
But that's what I'm suggesting is in Congress, that's what they should be doing. They should be taking all their shirts off and dust busting each other. Because
you know what? For me, I think that my whole life, you have something in your head, right? You have a certain type of woman. Girls have a certain type of man,
right?
And
you have
this is what I'm going to be with. And then one day someone comes along and you're like, no, but this isn't what this is the opposite of what. No, I want this. And then you realize that's not working. And you got something that, again, right here in front of you that's different, but better for you.
That's what a lot of people don't. That's a good name for a podcast. Better for you. It's always for you. And then you got quite great branding there. But you're right.
Bob Saget's here for you, but Michael Rosenbaum's inside of you, and Dick Cavett's whatever. He needs better for you.
Well, we like him, but I don't know. He's getting up there.
Better for you. Someone's going to steal that. That's a good podcast.
Well, they could take it from here. We're thrilled about it. We'll get 10%.
With it.
But I agree with you that people are always thinking they want the Stepford version of what they want. They have their fantasy. They want, a Helmsworth or Hemsworth or whatever it's worth.
Arthur Hemsworth?
Arthur.
No, Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, that's what they have their guys or their women that they want. Some people want RuPaul because RuPaul is abandoned and out there. Somebody wants, right now, people want to hook up with Oprah because talk about being there for you. I mean, I was on her show a few times, and in the commercial breaks, I got 3 hours of the most intelligent conversation I ever got from most therapists,
Wow.
I mean, then other people just want to hook up with the sex symbol of their life. That's the sex symbol of the moment,
You know what I hate? If you go on a dating site, someone, if you're under 6 feet tall or below 5'10", don't message me or don't. And you're like, that's just the opposite. Why? You think you have a type. You might just meet Mr. Right that's 5'9".
Well, why try to correct them? You obviously aren't interested in that because that's a person that is only on surface. That's only on surface. But I have seen men and women with people that are 3 feet apart. And all I'm saying is someone's neck's going to hurt. Just a kiss. It's like a giraffe and a small alpaca and a giraffe as a couple. Look, if you love each other, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
But I mean, people want what they want because their past experience, or we are, as always, mankind, womankind. We are fairly humankind. We are, I'd say, 60% shallow. I mean, people don't want to go any further psychologically.
Yeah.
They want to go on looks. Sexuality is a big thing. It does work well. But then, like Don Rickles was my friend, and he would say, Bob, sex is not everything. I said, Don, I see you sitting here with Barbara. Obviously, it's not. So, and then he would give me a look and slap me in the face and then give me $20 and tell me to get a job. And Barbara's adorable. So it's sad that he's gone. But that's the kind of thing where they were married and they weren't going to go look for other people. And I think that's where I'm at now. I mean, last time I was only married once before, and I've been divorced 23 years. So it's not that different from where you're at now. I mean, you're just, when's the last time you had a relationship? How long ago?
Probably a year ago.
Well, that's not that long ago.
No, but do you ever think that? Do you think you have to be just deeply in love with someone? Guys, I'm so in love, I feel it. Or can you be with someone that you're like, I just love being around them and they're a great person, and I love them, but I'm not like,
But those things move. So those things aren't. You can't. What everybody wants to do is put everything in a box and say this is what it is, because it helps you to control it and know, oh, that's the relationship. But the beauty of a great relationship is when it's like, man, we're going through a hard time. I don't know, especially during quarantine. I would imagine a bunch of people are going, they're going to get divorced or they're going to get married, or they're going, a great relationship is one that you're feeling the second thing that you mentioned, which is, I just love being around that person and they make me feel good. But then at certain moments, that turns into the highest form of love. There's no way that won't. If you're if it's a real relationship and it involves sex, that has to be there too. You can't just make that happen, because if that's missing, that can be difficult. You can't just live with your best friend unless you're not that sexual yourself. Then you're okay. I'm pretty sexual. I imagine you are also. From what I recall, you're very sexual.
No.
Well, you broke
Well,
my.
no,
You,
I'm a sexual guy. I like sex, but when you're in your 20s.
no,
or
you're
whatever,
not a sex addict, but you did.
Oh, yeah.
When I met you, I don't know if you remember this, but you broke my hymen. I don't know if you know that. We were on a seesaw in Beverly Hills in the park, and it busted on the hymen. Busted on the hymen. Okay, quick question, because I have to. Your band is called Left on Laurel.
Well, I was in a band called Left. So this whole music thing, I my whole life I thought, God, I love music so much. I love music so much. I go, but you don't sing like Adam Leonard. I was like, then finally I said, what the fuck does it matter, man? You love music. So I got a couple of friends together. It started out as this crazy. My friend had an album, Covers with Friends, and Jensen Ackles from Supernatural did a song on his album. I did a song. I did Mad World, and I didn't want to do it. I was like scared. I was like, I'm not really a singer. And he begged me to do it, and I finally sang it, and I was like, wow. And then he said, hey, you're playing music with your friends. Why don't you open for us at the Troubadour? And I go, no, fuck no. And he goes, just do it. I go, why? He goes, write 3 songs. Wrote 3 songs, opened for him. I was like, oh my God, I did it. And it was great. And he goes, come to Germany. You're going to play in Germany with me. I go, what? And the next, we have this band, it's my friends, and we're doing it. We make an album, and we really love it. I think it's a really good album. And
what's the name of the album?
Well, it was called Left on Laurel.
That's the name of the album. That's not the band.
No. The band's Left on Laurel.
Right.
The title's Saved by the Ground. And so it's from an old Fix song where it's saved by zero. When you hit zero, you've hit rock bottom. You can't go any lower because you're there. So you're saved by the ground ultimately. So I loved it, but it became sort of toxic. Like it was right now. I know on a small level what big bands think, but it was like, our friendships were kind of like being compromised a little, and we never yelled at each other. And all of a sudden we were kind of yelling, and it was just impatience and egos, and it just became unfun to me.
It's weird that you watch Almost Famous and you go, oh my God, we were like that.
Yeah. And then I said, I love you guys, but I'm out. And, and I wrote the songs, and I had a great time with them. And so then I just started my guitarist, Rob. I just said, hey, you want to come over? And we started creating, and I bring him songs I wrote, and then we work on them. And now we have 11 songs, and we've been recording an album for the last 2 months. We did a Capitol
That's Records. Fantastic.
We play shows on Stage It. If you go to StageIt.com, just type in
that's my friend Evan Lowenstein.
Yeah.
Or is it Jaron Lowenstein? They're twins. It's one of them. I think it's Evan's business.
I think it's Evan. That sounds familiar. But we do these live shows, and now we're doing the album. And I got to tell you, like, I love this. I am so passionate about it, and I think the music's really good, and I really just love it. I think that there's something here, and again, I don't think I'm going to become a big rock star. That's not the point. I just love doing it, and I'm going to.
That's important for everybody to hear too.
Yeah,
I'm happy for you though, specifically, but because there's people that that are trying to be in a band and are in a band, and a couple of them are going to break through, but the odds of it as far as success goes, you just have to love the shit out of it.
I just love it. I love sitting there and coming up with a song and writing the lyrics, and then, having a pedal steel player come in and play, and then having a violin, and then having harmonies come in, and working with this friend of mine in Nashville recording harmonies, this wonderful singer Emma Fitzpatrick, and Elliot Yamin from American Idol sings harmonies, and like all these friends come in, and the song that you wrote just gets elevated. And last time I was listening in the car with Rob, my guitarist, and we were like, man, like I'm the first one to say when I suck, but these songs I love them. I think they're really
this
really
is
good.
So great. I mean, I feel that because I've written a couple new songs that are part of my stand-up that will be. And that's the thing about performing. I bet you can't wait to get out and put people together and perform these songs live, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to, we got some great musicians that came on and helped us out because, I'm not in a band anymore. It's just Rob and I. And
so you're going to have to bring those people in.
So I play guitar, but I had a great drummer. This guy, Rob Humphreys, and this other guy played bass. And, my other buddy, Billy Moran, came in and did some other guitar stuff. And all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this is, my brother said it when he saw me play at the Troubadour and we opened for this other band, the Station Breaks, my friend Jason's band. And we only played 3 songs, and I'm telling you, I had 3 shots of whiskey. I was nervous. I had to take a shit every 3 minutes. I was so nervous.
That's good during a song. People like that.
That's the shit. But after the show, my brother comes up to me. He didn't say, "You were great. Your band was great. Hey, buddy, I'll be there in a minute." He looked at me and goes, "I've never seen you have so much fun."
Wow, that's a brother.
But that was better than saying you're great.
Yeah.
That was better than saying you're gonna be. It was just like, hey, dude, remember this. You had fun doing it. That's hard to really understand.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at right now. Everything I'm doing, that's where I'm at. The creative process for me is so damn fun. Getting up with Chappelle's thing in Ohio, going to even do this drive-in, and then next year, as far as directing and other shows developing and other stuff, I was even on The Masked Singer, because
I know, I love that. We talked about it. Yeah, I love that.
We talked about it on your thing,
what's it called? Better
Inside of You.
No, it was the other one. The other show somebody came up with that someone's going to steal.
Oh, Better Than You.
Better Than You. How do you remember?
Should be Better Than Me.
Better Than Me.
Better Than Me, because then they want people to be better than the host is.
I love that. I wish I would have came up with that Michael Rosenbaum Better Than Me.
We could do one together. Bill Burr and Burt Kreischer do one together. We could be Better Than Me, and we both
Better Than Us.
Yeah, Better Than Us. And then we're starting out with Failure. That's the title.
And by the way, that's how my podcast started. Failure. Oh, people are starting to listen. And that's just kind of like, you stick with it because you love doing it, and maybe good things will happen.
And relationships also. 2 questions left. 1, why did you leave your mom out there barking in the other room? That's a horrible thing to do to her.
That's Irv, and he's going to get fed. They're hungry. They're supposed to eat at 5, so I'm going to feed them.
We're done. Not that this is 5 when we're doing this. This is whenever you're listening to it. But the other question I had was left on Laurel. So you're going east on Sunset, and then you could go to Crescent Heights to the right, but you make a left on Laurel. Is that the idea?
The idea was that all my bandmates would make a left on Laurel to get to my house.
But that's the directions you're saying. You're going east on Sunset or Santa Monica or whatever. You make a left. Well, you're Crescent Heights below Sunset.
You can make a left on Crescent Heights, or you can make a left off Ventura in the Valley.
No, you'd be making, if you're coming west on Ventura, you'd make a left on Laurel. So you really should think this out. It should be left on Laurel unless you're coming from, if you're going, east on Ventura, it's a right on Laurel. So you've really got to.
Maybe the new band should be called Take Fountain.
Or Olympic. That's the Fountain or Olympic. That's the things that all dads tell their sons in L.A.
Well, that was Betty Davis, right?
Is that what she said?
Some actress said, "Give me some advice," and she thinks for a minute and goes, "Take Fountain."
She's right. I mean, I met her once.
Oh man, she was my favorite.
Last story. I had a cousin come out and visit. Her name was Colleen. I loved her a lot. Sweet, funny, starstruck cousin comes out. I go to lunch with her. She says, I just haven't seen anybody famous. We take her. I'm at Fred Siegel on Melrose, and they had a cafe outside. And she says, I just want to see somebody famous. And then I'm going, oh, God, I hope she doesn't, because she's going to accost them in the most fanned out way. Right. And then she looks, and Betty Davis is alone at a table. And she goes, oh, my God, there's Betty Davis. And I'm like, oh, no. And before I could say the second, oh, no, she's up, and she walks over to Betty Davis. All of a sudden, she's sitting down talking to Betty Davis. And she's talking to her. Then I see Betty Davis. She takes out an Instamatic camera, my cousin, a second cousin, and then takes a selfie with Betty Davis. Then all of a sudden, the papers are out. Betty Davis is signing a ton of stuff, not just one autograph. Betty Davis is talking to her. And then the cousin comes back to my table, and Betty Davis is like a glow that someone gave her so much affection and meant every word of it.
Oh,
and I was so worried she was going to be just the worst cousin from planet fandom.
That's beautiful.
She was going to be Dakota Fanning. It was, and the fact that Betty Davis was so gracious is also because she often played pretty upsetting characters.
Tough characters. Oh, yeah. She was my favorite, man. I loved her.
Would you have had sex with her if you could have?
I mean, who knows? Who's to say?
I would have had sex with Marvin Davis if he would have given me $1 billion. Well, I'm going to let you take care of your dog. I'm worried a little bit.
I love this. You know, I always say my show is therapy, but this was actually therapy, and it was fun because I felt like it was therapy for each other.
I feel that way. We talked a long time, so I feel bad about that. But I loved it, and so thank you for all your time. But we'll also exchange all our stuff and keep in touch with each other.
Yes, I love this. This was really a joy. I mean, honestly, I look at the clock, I'm like, wow, we've been talking. I didn't honestly feel like that.
Take care of your dog.
I will. I love you.
I love you too, Michael.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Michael Rosenbaum. That's how you say it, Rosenbaum. What's the big deal? There's a lot of good stuff that happened in that episode. I got to see a picture. If you follow this on YouTube, you'll see his little tumor thing that was taken out. It looks like a tiny little bean. And he's safe. He's clear. I wish him so much health. He is such a sweetheart, and I think you could tell that. Incredibly honest. And that's why in the podcast world, those people that are caring and are giving of themselves and reaching out to people and expressing their vulnerabilities, why it means so much and counts so much for the people they're communicating with, which is you guys. And I don't know. He's of the same mindset as I am. I love doing this, and I'm not going to stop doing it. So tell your mother that that I'll send her a check. That has nothing to do with anything. I was just separate. I'm just assuming that somehow I'm your parent. I'm your dad. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that was Michael Rosenbaum. You want to listen to Inside of You. He's going to be doing it's not Inside of You. It's Inside of You. Sorry. I speak, Mark Twain verbiage. And I'm wishing you guys well as we get through the rest of this year, which is, wow. We're almost at the end of 2020, right? It's just so weird that 2020 is what your doctor tells you when your eyes are great. And it don't feel like it applies anymore. Like when your doctor says, it's okay, check you out. Your vision's 2020. I go, fuck that. Make it 2021, 2022, 2023. Fudge it, doc. I can't take those numbers. You don't want to have 2 kids. How old are your kids? Oh, 2021. That's good. But you don't want, how old are your twins? 2020. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, thanks. Rate, review, subscribe. 5-star me up. Don't give me that 4.5 stuff. Make me the 3-star Michelin podcast. That's me pitching. That's me begging. It's like, make me good, make me popular. You couldn't do that in high school. Anyway, I'm going to keep doing this. I got great guests coming up, and I really enjoyed Michael Rosenbaum. Thanks for doing this. Sending you guys lots of love, and onward and upward as we get through the rest of this year. And I hope you and all the people that you're close with are safe and healthy. I'm wishing you all the best. All right? Talk to you next time. Okay, it's that time of year. There's holiday, there's flocking, there's jingle bells, there's all kinds of stuff, right? And it's a holiday time. You want to reach out to people. You want to send them cards. You want to send them gifts, gift certificates. You want to send them, I don't know, bills. Maybe they owe you money. Anyway, this holiday season, more people are going to be mailing stuff than ever before, which means the post office is going to be busy. You don't have time for that. So Stamps.com brings the post office and now UPS shipping right to your computer. You can mail and ship anything from the convenience of your home or your office. With Stamps.com, anything you can do at the post office that's legal, you can do with just a few clicks. Plus, Stamps.com saves you money with deep discounts that you can't even get at the post office. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS right to your computer. Where else would you want it? It's so convenient. Stamps.com is a must-have for any business, whether you're a small office sending out invoices, an online seller fulfilling orders during this record-setting holiday season, or even a giant warehouse sending thousands of packages a day. Stamps.com can handle it all with ease. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send it. Once your mail is ready, just schedule a pickup or drop it off. It's that simple. And with Stamps.com, you get 5 cents off every first-class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail and up to 62% off UPS shipping rates. Not to mention, it's a fraction of the cost of those expensive postage meters. Stamps.com is a no-brainer, which is convenient for me because my brain's been missing for months. It saves you time and money. It's no wonder over 900,000 small businesses already use Stamps.com. Don't spend a minute of your holiday season at the post office this year. Sign up for Stamps.com instead. There's no risk. And with my promo code BOB, that's B-O-B, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in BOB. That's Stamps.com and enter BOB. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.